to make sure we
Yeah,
got
see
this.
Alan Arbuckle too. Alan,
That's-
you've seen this show, so no jeering from the crowd.
I've seen the show, Paul, and I had that on one of the walls here for the longest time of your 5 things that great clubs do.
All right, well, that's coming up.
That's good.
Paul, I've seen this too, but I can't wait to hear it again because I always learn something new. I guess I'm slow.
That's well, you're reading too many of those books behind
That's
you.
right. That's right. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. So I want to welcome everybody to Thursday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. This is no joke. We are all here. And for those of us that lived in Michigan this morning, we woke up to snow.
Yes, we did.
Which was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. It's a joke, right? Well, nope, it wasn't. It was very cold this morning and we managed it. So my name is Sue Peterson. I'm from the Michigan District of Kiwanis. I'm here with you again. I believe this is session number 12 this year.
Wake up.
So we're moving right along. I was telling Paul when we got on earlier today that besides about 3 sessions in July and August, we're booked through October. So we are moving along. Next week, we have 2 members of the Michigan District of Key Club who are going to talk to us about their time during the pandemic and how they managed their district. The week after, Graham Honecker, who is from the Indianapolis Downtown Club, is with Butler University, and he's going to talk about how they took Butler from the Cinderella School to where they're at in athletics, but from the financial standpoint. So talk a little bit about that with him. The week after, I know that I have a lot of people that are interested. A friend of mine, Randy Dean, is going to talk about how to manage your email box, taming the email beast. So, and I will tell you that I follow a lot of what he does, and I think I have 3 emails in my box right now. So
You've got 40 accounts.
40 accounts. That's right. Yeah.
3 emails in each box.
That's okay. That's all right. So, and then we have Tony Rubleski, who's an author that's coming back with us. We've got the Ann Arbor Kiwanis Club is going to talk about their thrift store and the millions of dollars that they've given away. So we'll bring the candidates in June before the the convention. So pretty busy schedule coming up. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat, we'll do that as well. I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves if you're not talking at this time so we can keep our noise down. I am recording, so we'll make this available on the Michigan District of Kiwanis website via our YouTube channel. So I am very happy to have with us today, Mr. And I will say that out of respect for Mr. Paul Palazzolo. Paul served as president of Kiwanis International during the 2009-10 fiscal year. He began his involvement with the Kiwanis family as a member of the Griffin High School Key Club in Springfield, Illinois, and served as the Key Club governor for the II district in 1983-84. He joined a sponsoring Kiwanis Club, Springfield Downtown, in 1984 and began serving in leadership roles, including club president, lieutenant governor, and Kiwanis governor in 1994-95. 2 unique points about Paul. At 28 years old, he was the youngest person in Kiwanis history to serve as a district governor. And this is always exciting today. He has served over 25 years as the cheese sale chairman for his club. So if you want to know anything about cheese, Paul can help you with that. In 2019, Paul was awarded the Key of Honor, the highest recognition given to an adult by the student leaders of Key Club International, for which there can only be 2 recipients from throughout the world in a given year. Paul is a lifelong Springfield, Illinois resident, has served as the elected circuit court clerk of Sangamon County, Illinois since 2015. He previously served as the elected county auditor of the county from 2002 to 2015. Paul is married to Sue Ann Palazzolo, oh my gosh, Palazzolo, a licensed funeral director, and they are the proud parents of 2 children, Maria, who is a past Key Club International president, and Anthony, who is a past Key Club district treasurer. With that, I will turn it over to our past Kiwanis International and actually just our friend, Paul Palazzolo. Paul, it's all yours.
Thank you so much. That's just the way my mom wrote it. And I appreciate you going through that. And it's great to see everybody on this Zoom call on this Kiwanis Let's Talk program. And I see a lot of folks who are hoping to serve on the Kiwanis International Board and in other Kiwanis leadership roles. And so I appreciate your being on the Zoom call as well. And please, this is about helping clubs be successful. And please incorporate, hopefully, some of these hints into your own club's life, and then evangelize some of these hints to other clubs who might need a helping hand to improve their service and their experience and their fun. Before I kind of get into my program that perhaps many of you have seen before and might just need a refresher, but maybe some who are seeing me do this presentation for the very first time, something that I want to talk about right off the top is this most recent issue of Kiwanis Magazine. This is absolutely fantastic. And I would urge all of you to make sure that you've got a copy of this and open it and encourage your club members at your next possible meeting, whether it's virtual or in person. I'm not sure where each of you are in that stage of, back to the basics and back to normal. But this is absolutely a fantastic magazine issue that was just produced and just sent to us within the last 3 to 4 weeks. And there are so many hints in here. I'm going to talk about hints, but a lot of those same hints are reflected in this issue. And so I can't stress enough how I believe that this is something that each of you should find and get together with your fellow members and utilize it as a way to help your club be the best that it can be. Sue, do I go back to share screen?
Yes, you go back to share screen.
Okay, and then go to the slideshow.
Go to the slideshow and we will have you on the side.
All right. All right. So this is what I've kind of put together as aiming for the best Kiwanis Club experience in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, that's indeed why the district level exists, and that's why the international level exists, and the division level is to help clubs be the best that they can be. If a club questions about why it pays dues, why do members need to pay dues to conduct service? Well, you're paying dues to Kiwanis International and to the Kiwanis District to have a support system, to have resources, to have ways that other clubs have been successful and share those ways to clubs who might be struggling. And that's why you are a part of the Kiwanis family. That's why you're a part of the organization known as Kiwanis, and that's why our competitors in service exist to provide resources for their members as well. Those friends that we call Lions and Rotarians, but we won't talk much about them. Let's start with what I believe, and as Sue knows, serving as international president gives you a lot of experiences in our organization. And when traveling and seeing and experiencing, as I had a chance to do, and as Sue had a chance to do, both as president and in the roles on the international level that lead up to president, you get a chance to see what clubs are doing successfully and what they might need some help in. And my experience in serving in those roles and up to president is I kind of saw and analyzed and nuggeted down to 5 things that a club needs to do in order to have a successful Kiwanis experience. And those 5 things are service, fun, marketing, leadership, and the Kiwanis family. And real quick, bottom line, service, that's the name of our game. We're in business to help make our communities better places to live. Fun, we've got to do fun things and enjoy each other's company in the work that we're doing. Marketing, we need to pay closer attention to how we are, communicating to our members and to the outside community about what we're doing. So for 2 reasons. One, so that when we are doing a service project or a fundraiser, the community will know what we're about and be willing to support what we're doing as a club in a community. And also 2, to encourage potential members, because potential members will see what a Kiwanis club is doing and perhaps be interested in becoming a part of that. Leadership development, it's important that we are attending important events that offer ways to improve our club. The Kiwanis International Convention is an absolute must. Every club should be represented at the Kiwanis International Convention, no matter where it's held. in the world, and you will come back from that event with ideas and perhaps a few club project recipes to help your club improve, or ways to enhance your club's experience. And then Kiwanis family. Folks, we are the only service organization in the world that has been successful since 1925 with helping young people learn the values of service and leadership. And so we need to be proud of that, and we need to support that and make sure that we are fulfilling our responsibilities of sponsorship. And I'll talk a little bit about that shortly as well. So the first object of good club habit is to have meaningful meetings. And by the way, one thing on these 5 things, you notice what I said briefly about these 5 things is that it doesn't matter how many times your club meets. It doesn't matter how many times or in what fashion your club is meeting. This can be a completely virtual e-club, or it can be a traditional Kiwanis club that meets every week. It doesn't have any reference to where your club meets, or if there's a full-fledged opening with a pledge and prayer and anything else that accompanies a traditional Kiwanis club meeting. But if a club is doing these 5 things, from what I have seen around the world, if it's a club with a fantastic Kiwanis club experience, and it will provide value to the members and to the community, and it will be relevant because you're providing good service. So 10 things that a club needs to do to kind of fit into those 5 things. The first one is to have meaningful meetings. And a big part of that is to start and end your club meetings and board meetings on time. Or particularly if you're a breakfast club or a lunch club, that timeliness is important. And if you're a club president, if you're a club leader, and if you're not the club president that's on this call, but perhaps you are a support team for that club president, whether you're a secretary, treasurer, or board member, you might encourage your president to take a look at some of these items. You've got to start and end your club and board meetings on time. And then you got to have an agenda for club and board meetings to know, have a roadmap where your club is headed. A wise hint is to have a president put together a template for the entire year of meetings. That way they don't have to worry about putting an agenda together at the last minute, perhaps missing something. And it's always good to include member birthdays, member anniversaries, other special dates that you might want to include in that member's life that you want to celebrate at a club meeting. You put those in at the beginning of the year on your templates. That way you're not kind of scrambling as a club president to put your agenda together. So I always try and encourage presidents to plan out the year at the beginning with an agenda template for each meeting, so that there's not a last minute scramble at the end to try and put everything together that you don't want to miss. And that'll give you time beforehand, a meeting, to kind of just tailor it to that day's event, because every agenda can't be planned months in advance. You got the skeleton that has the important dates in there and club member anniversaries and birthdays, but then you put the meat on that skeleton on the actual day or the night before the club meeting. The second thing, of course, is to focus on service projects. Again, as I said earlier, that's kind of the name of the game of what we do. And focusing on service projects, it's important to assess the current projects of your club, particularly when we've got some time in the next couple of months that we still might be meeting virtually and not meeting in the habitual way. Assess the current projects of your club and see if they're still meeting current needs of the community. Sometimes a project might have lost its relevance in promoting or in conducting service. So it's important to kind of just check in to make sure that that service project is still important to those being served and to the community at large, and maybe change it, maybe kind of take it out of the arsenal of your club's service projects if it's not meeting relevant needs, and conduct a community analysis, which Kiwanis International has done a great job of providing a template for how club leaders can conduct a community analysis and to see what current needs exist. And normally I would kind of go into some detail about some unique ways to conduct a community analysis, but I might answer, if anybody has a question about that a little later. But always on the website, Kiwanis.org, there's doing some research into the leadership guides. You can see some unique ways to conduct a community analysis to learn what the current needs are in your community. And then you conduct that community analysis, and then you get your club involved in planning how to meet those needs. And again, this can be conducted with e-clubs, virtual clubs that aren't meeting on a regular basis, and especially if clubs are getting back into the habit of, every other week or every week. It's a good thing to make sure that you've done that community analysis. Now, for clubs that haven't done this yet, any time is a good time, but the ideal time to do a community analysis is in August. And the reason for that is you're wanting to work with the incoming club leadership team and see what you can do to plan the fiscal year starting October 1. A community analysis in August is a good step toward something that I'll talk about shortly, a good step toward having a full-fledged leadership retreat on a Saturday morning to plan a full fiscal year. But a community analysis is very important to have. The third thing is to focus on membership strength. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, a lot of clubs fall out of the habit of focusing on membership strength. And notice I didn't say growth, because growth has become kind of a esoteric term. Strength implies the ability to do things well. And that's why I like that word strength. Focus on membership strength. That's the ability to do things well. That means service being done well, fun being done well. And when you have more hands and eyes and ears to see needs and hear needs, and hands to get the work done and minds to, formulate new service projects, the club has a stronger ability to make an impact. So focusing on membership strength, it's important to have at least one concentrated membership drive every year. At least one concentrated membership drive every year. And there's three things that are important for a successful membership drive. You got to have a focused time frame. You got to have a focused goal for that membership drive, and you got to have fun, in capital letters, fun. Focused time frame, whatever's good for your club. Maybe it's a 6-week time frame for a membership drive. Maybe it's a full-fledged 2-month or 3 months time frame for a membership drive. But however many weeks or months you want to stage it, you got to have a focused time frame, because that lasers your fellow members into that time frame to be aware of the need to ask somebody or to recruit somebody. A lot of clubs say this. They'll say, oh, you know what, we can have a membership drive, or no, excuse me, we can invite any guest anytime we want throughout the year. Everybody's open to do that. And that's great. But when you've got a focused time frame, your members are kind of lasered into that, and that's the time to ask somebody. So that's why I like it. That's why I like that focused time frame, to get people, concentrating on it. Then the focused goal. Again, it gives members something to get excited about. And I like to encourage clubs to not have a meager goal, a minimal goal, so that it can be achieved. I mean, that's fun that you make it possible to achieve it. But if you have a stretch goal, if you have a really big, audacious goal that is kind of a challenge, you can encourage your members to get even more excited about, oh, we'll never get that. But I say, shoot for the moon. And you've heard this before, shoot for the moon. If you don't make it to the moon, you might grab a couple of stars along the way. So if you have a 15-member club and you have a focused time frame for a membership drive, for that goal, you have a 15-member club, aim for 10 members. It's a huge goal. And if you only make 4, that's 4 members that you didn't have. You might not have achieved the goal of 10, but I think 4 is an outstanding accomplishment for a 15-member club during a membership drive. And so think large and put that as a focused goal and draw attention to it. And during that time frame, that helps get your members motivated and enthused during that time frame for a membership drive. And finally, fun. You got to have a membership drive that's fun, so it encourages team leaders to to want to accomplish the goal during the time frame, you can have a pie in the face contest. I'm a huge fan of that. You can offer, the president can offer to take a cream pie in the face from every member who sponsors a new member into the club. And that's a fun little challenge. And it only starts to stink after the first 4 hours of the day. If you meet in the morning or you meet in the afternoon, you can get cleaned up, no problem. But it's still fun, and it encourages members to want to do it. And sometimes clubs will extend that offer even further. If a club president offers to take a cream pie in the face for every current member that brings in a new member, the president can offer to take a pie of the member's choice in the face if they bring in 3 new members. And that's kind of fun. If a person brings in 3 new members, then they get to put a pie of their choice in the president's face. And that could be a pumpkin pie, a turkey pot pie, a cherry pie. And then if one Kiwanian brings in 25 new members into the club, 25, then they get to put a cow pie in the president's face. Now, not everybody's going to make 25 new members, and there's no transfer of sponsorship, but you put that out there and you have some fun with it. There's other things to do that I can talk about later. There's the fish in the goldfish bowl contest, where a person's name is drawn out of a hat or a fish bowl, empty fish bowl, and then the person's name who's drawn gets to take that live goldfish in a bowl home and bring it back to each meeting until they sponsor a new member. Now, some of that will be difficult to do for meetings that are held virtually or electronic meetings, but the sky's the limit on the imagination on some fun things that a club can do to fulfill the goal of having it be a fun membership drive. And then it's important to retain current members by keeping them involved. You've got to conduct a membership analysis. And this is also available in some of the leadership guides from Kiwanis International on how to conduct a membership analysis. This is a little check-in to see what members are enjoying or not enjoying out of their Kiwanis Club experience. You know, sometimes a club conducts a membership analysis and learns that the members don't like the meeting place, or the food ain't so hot. In fact, it's kind of cold. Or maybe you need to do more information pieces, have a Facebook page or a Snapchat presence, or some other things that you might learn from your club by doing a membership analysis. So it's important to do a membership analysis, again, every year. Any time is a good time for a membership analysis. But just like the community analysis, it's like a Laurel and Hardy. I don't know if that's a good analogy. It's like a good team, one-on-one effort. You got to do the club analysis and you got to do the community analysis every year to help your club be as effective as possible. And the same thing goes for the club analysis, the membership analysis. Best time to do it, August. And that way, as the new leadership team prepares for the new fiscal year, doing both of those and getting that information and analyzing it and announcing those results to the membership is a good thing to do in August as you prepare for October 1. Continuing to focus on membership strength, a new member orientation is critical. And again, the Kiwanis International website and the leadership guides have a sample new member orientation that you can use to highlight the most important part of an orientation is the local club projects and the local club aspect. What the new member orientation does is it allows a new member to learn what Kiwanis expects of them and what they can expect from Kiwanis. And here's a couple of helpful hints on a new member orientation real quick. If you're taking notes, a new member orientation, you always want to invite the sponsor of that new member to the orientation. That way there's a meaningful bridge, a connection. You might invite the member's spouse because after they learn what Kiwanis is all about, they might be interested themselves. But at least if they're not interested themselves, they'll at least know what the household is getting into in terms of Kiwanis, the service fund, membership strength, and then the leadership development, the marketing, and the Kiwanis family aspect. So covering those things will be important, but there is a template of what to cover in a new member orientation from Kiwanis International. Then it's important to have a meaningful new member induction. Make sure that that new member, when they receive their membership pin and when they are, officially welcomed into the club, that new member induction needs to help that new member feel like $1 million. And again, these things can be done virtually as well. They can be done on Zoom or e-meetings or whatever platform you're using. This can all be done virtually as well as live in person. Have a new member induction and make that new member feel like $1 million as they're officially welcomed into the club. You got to, invite with the membership drive. You got to inform with the orientation. You got to induct when they've gone through the orientation, and then you've got to get them involved. You got to retain new members by getting them involved, and you always got to be aware of your club's gains and losses as you go through the year. Invite. It's like 4 eyes on this section, ladies and gentlemen. Invite. You got to have a membership drive. Inform. You got to have a new member orientation. Induct. You got to make that member feel like $1 million at that formal welcome into the club. And involve. Use folks or lose folks. They join Kiwanis to make an impact, and you want to make sure that they are having that expectation fulfilled. You can't ask them to join Kiwanis and then there's nothing happening other than meetings and no impact made. So invite, inform, induct, and involve. You have to have all 4 eyes in that formula in order to be successful. I like to exemplify that with a little story. Maybe some of you have heard me tell it. It was about a gentleman who was a very religious man, and he had a 16-year-old boy. And the 16-year-old son was, interested in having his own car. And so he goes to his father and he says to him, Dad, I think I'd like a car. I'm 16 and I think I'm ready. And the father says, son, I think there's 4 things you need to do before I think you're ready for a car. He says, the first thing, he says, I want you to stop watching so much television. He says, the second thing is I want you to bring your grades up. He says, the third thing, I want you to read the Bible at least an hour a day. And he says, the fourth thing, I want you to get that long hair cut off. So a couple months pass. The 16-year-old boy has been working on it. He thinks he's ready. He goes up to his dad and he thinks he's ready to go. He says, Dad, I want to share with you some exciting news after the last 2 months. He says, look at my report card, A's and B's instead of C's and D's. Father says, son, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for working hard. And he says, Dad, I also hope you've noticed that I haven't been watching so much television. And the father says, son, I've seen that and I appreciate that too. And then the real important part is, as he's a religious man, the son says, Dad, I also hope you've noticed I've been reading the Bible at least an hour a day. Father says, son, you know how much that means to me. I appreciate it. And then the boy says, but Dad, as I was reading the Bible, all of those pictures of Jesus I saw in there, he had long hair. The father said, son, I've been reading the same Bible that says Jesus walked wherever he wanted to go. So you have to have all 4 eyes in order to be successful. Invite, inform, induct, and involve. 2 or 3 alone won't do the trick. That's focusing on member strength. Use the club board of directors for guidance is number 4. And a lot of times, the club board of directors, whether it's meeting virtually or live in person, can just kind of go through the motions of being a board of directors. You approve this expenditure, you delete this member, you approve this new member application. But a lot of times the board of directors needs to be engaged more effectively. And one of that is to create the vision for the fiscal year. And the board of directors can meet collectively, during the summer and have a retreat on a Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And just kind of plan out the year, have that vision. Where would the board or the club itself could come together at a retreat on a Saturday morning and determine that vision? Where do we see our club on September 30th, 2021? Where do we see our club in terms of membership? Where do we see our club in terms of service projects accomplished? What can we do that's new? What do we want to unload as perhaps a project that might not be relevant to the community anymore? So that's where you get that Saturday morning opportunity for the club board of directors to guide, to plan, to think, to dream, to establish a vision for where that club can be at the end of a fiscal year. So use the club board of directors for guidance, have a retreat, and establish that vision. I call it a board brainstorm, and have donuts too. You can't think without donuts. And you want to ensure that the club board meets once a month at least, and evaluate progress toward the vision. Don't just do those rote things that I referred to earlier. Approve this expenditure, pay this bill, approve this member ad. Evaluate progress each month at the board meeting to evaluate how you're moving forward toward that vision that was established at the retreat. And then you can say, okay, if we need to do something else to redirect, it gives you that board meeting opportunity to do it. Number 5, recognition and fun. And boy, 2 important elements. Remember I said number 2 in the big 5 list was fun. And then this is the way to think about it. Kiwanis thank yous from the club leadership is important. Make sure that when a service project is complete, and whoever had the chance to lead that effort, make sure that they are appropriately appreciated and thanked, made to feel like $1 million. Sometimes here's a hint for the club president. Buy about 12 or 15 elements of recognition, little thank you gifts that can be fun, might be reminiscent of your community, might be something from the Kiwanis catalog with the Kiwanis logo on it, something that you can have in the trunk of your car, about 12 or 15 items, so that the president, when he or she needs to say thank you, they don't have to wait till the next meeting to say thank you. They can run out to the car and get that recognition item and present it right there. Now, naturally, that hint doesn't count for the virtual club experience, but there can certainly be some ways that virtually meeting clubs can devise some unique ways to say thank you and express, a token of appreciation. Got to have fun at meetings. A lot of clubs hold happy dollar sessions where you express a happy dollar, put $1 in for saying that, hey, my grandkids are coming for the weekend. And then the next time you meet, you probably would put $1 in and say, hey, my grandkids finally went home. So that can be generating some dollars for the administrative account too. I don't know whoever's heard of 2 truths and 1 lie, but that's a fun effort to have at Kiwanis Club meetings, where at the beginning of the year, the president will ask every member to write on an index card, a simple index card that you can have every member write down their name at the top, and they can write down 2 true things about themselves and 1 lie. And then the president collects all those index cards, and at each meeting, the president will pull out 1 index card, read the 3 things on it, read the name at the top and the 3 things on it, and then the members get to figure out which one of those 3 things on the card is the lie. And if you want to use me as an example, you can say, on the index card, I'd write my name at the top, Paul Palazzolo, and then I'd write down was a key club governor in high school. The second thing I'd write down would be is married to a funeral director. And the third thing I'd write down would be was the first choice for the Tom Cruise role in the movie Risky Business. So which one of those would be the lie? Anybody has any guesses? I don't see the chat. What's that?
The one for the movie.
Oh, yeah, well, Miss Campbell, you break my heart. Yes, you are correct. But yes, indeed. So that's how that game is played. And you would offer a fun little recognition for the correct answer. But so that's 2 truths and 1 lie. And guess who is kind of something similar, where you would leave the name blank and write down 3 relatively obscure things, and then pull 1 index card out and then see if members can guess who that refers to. So got to have fun at meetings, got to have fun at projects. You got to plan for fun things during the year because, it's important to know each other as friends. And so that way it's fun to work on service projects when it can be some hard work. Got to do something fun at least once a quarter. Family picnic, holiday event during October, November, December quarter of the year. Go to a dinner theater together if you've got that opportunity in your community. Go to a movie. Go to a riverboat casino. Go to someplace that might be fun to go as a group. or just even go out to dinner just for fun. No board business, no Kiwanis business talked about. Just have fun with each other and families and being a part of the Kiwanis experience. Proper financing, I'll go through this one real quick. You got to set a budget for both the administrative and the service account, and then you can probably use your budgeting process, to strategize and help set goals. Because if you've got a traditional fundraiser, you might, aim for, let's say you have a traditional fundraiser that generates $2,000 profit every year, and you spend that money, okay? And you budget 2,000. We expect 2,000 in, and we spend 2,000 out. Well, you might set the budget to say, we're going to aim for $3,000 this year. Oh my, we'll never get that. Well, why not? Let's try and do some new things that might maybe generate 3,000. Like say if you have a pancake day for the first time, you might ask for sponsors for that pancake day, or placemat ads, or other elements that might generate some additional revenue that wouldn't have normally been. So use the budgeting process to set some goals. If you aim for 3,000 and you only make 2,100, and you added something new in the process, keep doing it. You might work your way up to an increase to $3,000. So use the budgeting process not just to be organized, but to set goals that might be able to be reached. A few stretch goals here and there. Leadership development, I've talked about that a little bit. It's important to allow members to gain experience by going through the office roles. Allow team members with new members with longtime members to kind of get a sense of things, and portray the offices of president and secretary as positive experiences. I don't know how many of you may have seen a club president in early September say, "Thank God I've only got 4 more meetings and I'm out of here." Well, how do you think that makes the new president feel? So if you want to portray these as positive experiences, people will be less hesitant to say yes when asked to serve in those roles. We have a saying that I'd rather have you insincerely happy than sincerely grumpy. So keep that in mind. That's a good motto. You got to include the Kiwanis family. As I said before, we're the only service organization that has been as successful as we have been since 1925 with Key Club, and of course Circle K, Kiwanis Kids Clubs, Action Club, Builders Club. We got to support these young people, and that includes time, not just writing a check. And you got to plan and do fun things. Challenge your students to a volleyball tournament. A lot of students, when they're challenged by adults to a volleyball tournament, think, well, there's no way that those adults are going to win. They're old and decrepit. But a lot of times students are surprised that the Kiwanians, by virtue of experience, know how to play volleyball better than the young people who think they've got all the energy. But if volleyball tournament with Key Club or Circle K or Builders is going to involve an ambulance, please avoid it. There's other things you can do. You can do a miniature golf tournament. You can do bowling. You can have a family picnic. There's just unique fun things that you can do to help cement the working relationship between the Kiwanis Club and the Kiwanis family clubs that it sponsors. Share service projects. Certainly we rely on Key Clubbers and Circle K members and Builders Club members to help us on our service projects. Sometimes it's important to knock on the student's door and see what we can help them with, particularly if they might have one of the things that one of the Key Clubs that my club sponsors is they have a huge carnation sale during the month of February. And so a lot of times, it's a real chore to snip off the stems and attach the tags. And Kiwanians are great being able to sit down and snip off the stems of the flowers and tie those tags that are written out for the recipients of those carnations. So that's something that you can knock on a sponsored youth club's door and say, how can we help with anything you got going? There is a number of ways that we can help a student's club move forward. Schedule interclubs and make them fun. Interact. Right now, it's probably so difficult to do this. I understand that. But once things return to as normal as possible. Hopefully in the fall that we can get back to doing some of these things and helping the principal of our or the dean of the college that we sponsor Circle K Club at know that this working relationship is important to the students as they see the opportunity to be involved in the adult world by giving back to their community. And then here's a hint that you can do virtually as well as live, is include the presidents of your sponsored clubs as members of your Kiwanis Club's board of directors. So public relations is important. Got to have that third element of the big five that I posted at the beginning. You've got to have important internal public relations. Keep your members informed with the website, Facebook page, newsletters, and constant emails. Kiwanis Magazine is important. Sometimes I like to encourage members, not just this issue, which is kind of an extremely important issue, but just in regular issues of Kiwanis Magazine, encourage members to dive into regular issues too, to see what might be of interest in there, and then offer a little fun prize, maybe a gift card of like Starbucks for $5 or $10 for a Starbucks gift card, and ask your members during a meeting, can somebody tell me what was on the cover of the last Kiwanis Magazine we received? And see who answers. And if they have the right answer, they might be answering from a magazine they saw 6 months ago, but see who remembers the cover. And then the next time the magazine shows up, you ask, okay, what was the lead story and inside the magazine, to encourage encourage members to dive into the magazine, to steal some ideas. That's what Kiwanis Magazine is all about. It's not just a puff piece on stories. There's some helpful hints in there. The purpose of it is to help Kiwanis clubs get ideas and be the best they can be. And external PR is important. Road signs, and of course, Facebook to the outside community, pictures and radio and newspapers. Have a media appreciation day where you can recognize the media and offer to have their meal covered and say thank you to them. Or maybe even having a prize for the most impactful story of the year that related to human interest. And road signs, if your club has a road sign at the entrance to your town, make sure that it's as new as possible, and not weather worn and sun faded, because you want to portray a positive image that Kiwanis is open for business in your community. Finally, follow up with club evaluation. And that's critical because you just got to check in with everybody and see how you're doing. You got to be persistent in that assessment to make sure that you're providing a valuable product. Kiwanis is an experience. We want our members to see value in the time that they're giving to give back to the community, to make an impact, as well as the fun that they might be experiencing. If always ask why isn't this working? Why aren't we having more members come to our meetings? How can we do better? How can we make it improve? And we can do this particularly as we come out of what we're experiencing right now on a global basis. Kiwanis is so important that we have to engage with these 10 things that eventually come back to the 5 things that I talked about. Again, I'll try and scan back to that. 5 things are service, fun, marketing, leadership development, and Kiwanis family. The 10 things that I went through always kind of stem from those 5 things. If we all do each of those 5 things extremely well, we'll have an experience for our club that members will want to join because, and let me just close with this, ladies and gentlemen, these 4 things are all human nature elements. This is really kind of strictly to us, but these 4 things are all about human nature, service. Humans like us want to give back. We want to feel positive about our time here on earth by making the lives of others better. Fun. We want to be enjoying ourselves. We want to, have a few laughs and be friendly and get to know our fellow man and enjoy our time on earth. Marketing. If we have a club that proclaims its presence and has a known entity, people want to be a part of something that has a positive reputation. If we're not marketing ourselves, then nobody knows that we have a positive reputation, and they won't be as interested in being a part of us when they are asked to join or asked to support it. So marketing is important so that people will want to be a part of something that gives them a little feel good aspect of belonging to something important too. And leadership. Everybody wants to learn a little more. Everybody wants to expand their horizons on what they know. So that's why the service club movement is not dying. You know, a lot of people say that Kiwanis and Rotary and Lions and Optimists, that these phenomenon are fading away. But a club only fades when it falls out of the habit of doing these 4 things, especially, and all 5 in our case as a Kiwanis club. A club declines when it falls out of the habit of doing these 5 things correctly. So that's what I've had an opportunity to learn over the years. And I still believe strongly that that's how we can have a good Kiwanis Club experience for our members. So Sue, you're in charge. Help me know what the next step is here.
So you can go ahead and turn off quit, stop sharing your screen.
Got it.
And that way everybody can start to see each other. What we'll do is open it up for questions. I think what was great about that was, you know, that really took it back to the basics. You know, a lot of times we think that we have to do something so elaborate or something so deep, when reality is, you know, we just got to get back to the basics of who we are as an organization. The 5 things: service, fun, marketing, leadership.
And
that's what we got to do in the Kiwanis family. That's what we need to do.
Yep.
So, and that's really what it takes us back to. So I will open it up. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand and we'll call on you. We will make this PowerPoint available. Paul will share that PowerPoint with me. And then Paul, you have a handout.
I do. I have a couple of, I've got the handout that just kind of lists everything that I covered. And then I have another top 10 list, the top 10 responsibilities of Kiwanis family sponsorship. That if we kind of, slow down on questions, I can cover that in about 4 seconds.
Perfect. And
as well.
Paul
I'll also send that out to everybody on the call too.
Yep. Paul will share it with me and we'll make sure that we get that out to everybody. So Laura wrote great stuff to remember. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat or welcome to, unmute yourself and talk. No one's shy in this group normally, Paul.
Good. Did I put anybody out? Did I?
No, we actually gained a few people along the way, so the word got out.
It's nobody dozed off or went to go watch a Columbo rerun.
No, that's right. That's right. Columbo? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Question.
All right, who's got a question?
So Sue, this is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Maybe as much comment as a question, but Paul, thank you. First, thank you for a consistent message. We tend to look for the new, emerging, wonderful, new idea. And sometimes going back to the basics is exactly what we need to do. I'm really interested in hearing the other piece that you have.
Sure. I'll run through it quickly, but I will make sure that this gets sent out. Top 10 responsibilities of Kiwanis family sponsorship. Number 1, schedule a 15-minute check-in meeting with the school principal or the college dean in late August. Number 2, assign a specific Kiwanis Club advisor for each Kiwanis family club that your club sponsors. Encourage them to attend as many events as possible. They don't have to attend everything, but they need to be specifically assigned to it. Number 3, keep the faculty advisor fully informed on Kiwanis activities. Communicate with that faculty advisor consistently so that that person knows what's going on with Kiwanis. Number 4, ensure that your financial obligations are met by December 1. That includes sponsorship fees for Kiwanis Kids, Action, Builders, and Circle K. And then key club member dues are right now internationally $7 per member. And then there's a district dues component as well. And those are due by December 1. Number 5, make sure that your Kiwanis family clubs are included in your club's service and fundraising projects. Number 6, Invite your Kiwanis family clubs and their faculty advisors to provide an activity update at the first Kiwanis Club meeting in November. Now, ladies and gentlemen, November is kind of traditionally Kiwanis Family Month. And so you can use a meeting in November, either the first week or the second week. Try and avoid the last week because nobody's going to show up, but at least in the United States with the Thanksgiving holiday. But that first week in November or the second week of November, you can have it be a meeting where the Key Club or the Circle K Club or both are the specific program for the day, not just second along guests. They're the full-fledged program. Number 7, work with your Kiwanis Club leaders and faculty advisors to coordinate a Kiwanis Club membership drive for parents. Work with your Kiwanis Club leaders and faculty advisors to have a membership drive for parents to join Kiwanis. Number 8, plan on 1 or 2 fun events. I kind of covered that. Miniature golf, bowling, volleyball, family picnic. Number 9, annually schedule a Kiwanis Club meeting program on the Kiwanis Youth Protection Guidelines, because that's very important to know that we are very transparent and educated on our youth protection guidelines, and make sure that all of our Kiwanis members who work with young people have been part of the background check. And number 10, excuse me, the page, put the camera away. Number 10, budget the service account funds to send Key Club and Circle K members and advisors to their district and international conventions. And this is so important too, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that you send young people to the international convention for Key Club and Circle K and the district convention for Key Club and Circle K. And ideally, here's how the expenses should break out. 1/3 should be paid by the Kiwanis Club. 1/3 should be paid by the student, and 1/3 should be paid by the club that's that student is from, either Key Club or Circle K. So that you'll get that too, that I'll send to Sue Peterson. The top, that's a little David Letterman thing, the top 10 responsibilities of Kiwanis Family Club sponsorship. And again, that's critical too, because ladies and gentlemen, let me just share with you this. I believe, and I don't have proof of this, but I believe that at Rotary International Conventions, they have forums and workshops on how to poach Key Clubs from Kiwanis clubs. And it's easy to do this. I don't have any proof. And for Sue, edit this out from the recording. I don't have any proof of this, but it's easy to poach our Key Clubs when the Kiwanis Club hasn't fulfilled its responsibilities of sponsorship, because the principal, who may even be a Rotarian, might be just sniffing and waiting around for the Kiwanis Club to fold, or to have lost its ability to be a good sponsor, and then poof, instant Interact Club. And that's the Rotary sponsored club of for young people in high school. But Interact, let me share with you this, and Lions have Leos, but Leos, they got nothing, and Interact has got less, because our Key Club has a structure of leadership and resource opportunities for a Key Club to be successful. We've got a district level, we got a division level, excuse me, we got a district level, we got an international level, and we offer opportunities for young people beyond the club level. The club levels are the most important part, where students learn leadership and service, but the other opportunities, as Sue Peterson very well knows, gives a young person the opportunity to learn skills that they will provide in their career life. And that's important, that Interact does not have and that Leos does not have. So we lose our Key Clubs to poachers when we don't sponsor them well. And so I just put that plug in, because it's easy to keep them if we do the right things.
You're exactly right. And Paul, I want to read you some of the comments that are in our chat. Many continued thank you to you for your continued passion for Kiwanis and how you walk the talk. Always somebody leaves something from your sessions. Truly wonderful information. We'll implement the tips. It's important to encourage the younger members of our club. This is from Gail. Sometimes it's difficult to get older members to make a way for them. The 30 somethings in our clubs are our futures, and we need to make sure they're not only welcomed, but listened to and their ideas are considered and implemented. And, that's getting in the way of some of our clubs, people are getting in the way of the things that they could be doing and bringing in.
But Sue, let me just quickly interject. Young people want to be of service. Young people want to have fun. Young people want to be a part of something important when people know that it exists, marketing, and young people want to learn and develop their leadership. And
That's
that's
right.
what we offer. Those are the 4 things that I talked about at the top. Kiwanis Family is specific to us, but these 4 things provide human nature need.
Right.
And this is from 18 years old to 78 years old.
That's right.
And we got to do those 5 things correctly.
If we take it back to them, exactly. Christine says, Paul, I met you many years ago at the International Convention with Hugh O'Brien before you were
right.
international president.
Okay.
She's still in the
Excellent.
Capital District and very involved in a local key club.
Thank you, Christine.
Nordia wrote, great reminder about getting back to the basics. Jamaican clubs could do well with this presentation, and all of your suggestions can be done online as well as face-to-face. Let's see, I got more messages coming at the bottom here. Gail actually wrote that it's true for a Circle K club they had at a local community college. It's now a Rotaract club.
There you go.
It can happen.
Rotaract is the college level.
Is the college
Interact
level.
is the high school level, and Rotaract is the college level.
Correct. Thanks again for the reminders. Thanks for your ongoing commitment. Out of the 5 topics, leadership should always be number 1 on any list. Thanks for your time and passion. You presented to Roger Bell's class of Governor-elects. Very good advice, great information, good reminders. And I think that's sometimes what we have to do. We just have to get back to those reminders of those 5 tips, right? There's no bright, shiny thing out there. I think we always look for the bright, shiny thing, right?
And as Linda kind of alluded to that, I used to call it the, what did the Lone Ranger have? The silver bullet. There's
Right.
no silver bullet solution to these, what we believe are hurdles and challenges in the service club movement. It's those 5 things. It's the hard work of those 5 things. You're not going to come up with something that's going to be a silver bullet problem solver. It goes back to the basics.
Because if there was a silver bullet,
We would have done it in
we'd have done it.
1986.
Exactly. Or 1916, whatever that was back there, right? We would have
Yep.
figured it out by now. We'd have more than one silver bullet. So, like Paul said, the information is so basic. It's so important. And when I was looking at my schedule and working on, bringing people in, I thought, okay, Paul's a great person to bring us back to that. We know that young people want to do service and mingle. They want to do those things. Chuck has raised his hand. Chuck?
Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Paul, and ditto across what everyone else said. But what I also want to say, Paul, is you talked about the club, which is our most important component, but this also carries on through the leadership of Lieutenant Governor, Governor, and above. I will say, when I was Lieutenant Governor, I also did a Saturday workshop for about 4 or 5 hours with the club presidents in the division, and we met at a restaurant. We had fun. We learned, we fellowshipped, and that's so important, I believe, also, just as you mentioned with the club president, meeting with the board and getting to know them. So I believe that we can carry on what your words are to higher leadership positions within the organization.
And that
The only
includes
question
applying the face contest, Chuck.
The only question I say, and I'll say before I ask the question, I'll tell you, anybody with 2 Z's in their last name are good people. But,
Unless that means that you're asleep, on the cartoons. Are they?
Right.
put the
that's
Z-
that's 3 Z's, sir. But I jest. But are you available to do this presentation to
Yes.
divisions or clubs?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
So I
Thank
will
you,
put
Mr. Ron,
Paul's
speak.
email in the message box, the chat box. It is ZLO
Yep.
2022@AOL.com.
There it is.
And we'll make sure that information gets out to everyone as
And
well.
I would ask each person on the call to kind of evangelize this stuff, just to share it out and to communicate not just to your club, but to other clubs. And those who are on this call that are in leadership, at the division and the district and at the international level and who want to be at the international level, I hope you include this as part of your presentations. It's just, we have to stop being distracted by other things that get us off the mark on leadership in Kiwanis, and just focus on helping clubs be the best that they can be. We've got to get back to that right now. It's so critical.
Right. Margaret
Sue?
Lee, thank you for being with us tonight. Margaret said that even for a Circle K club, this information is helpful.
Absolutely.
Brad,
Yeah, I just wanted to, I know Paul's very humble, but I'd like for him to share a little bit about his own immediate K family, his daughter and the others, what all they've contributed and what they've gotten out of Kiwanis as a sort of a family affair.
Well, you're very kind, Brad. My daughter Maria had an opportunity to serve as Key Club International president in 2014-15. And then Anthony, my son, had a chance to serve as Key Club district treasurer a little later after Maria graduated. And so, and of course, my wife Sue Ann has been supporting all of us and as what we've all done together as a family. And let me just share one positive point, Brad, and a fun story. I hope I don't bore people with it. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. Somebody mentioned, and was it Catherine that mentioned about meeting me at the International Convention with Hugh O'Brien?
yes.
See, I'm not going senile yet.
No,
Was it
you're good. You're
Catherine?
good.
Was it Catherine, Sue?
Yes, it was.
Okay, good. Hugh O'Brien, the day that, the international president gets to ride the Rose Bowl parade float, the Kiwanis float in the Rose Bowl parade on New Year's Day. So we did that, all four of us. My whole family had a chance to ride on the Kiwanis float in the Rose Bowl parade. So that night, Hugh O'Brien invited us to dinner on New Year's Day. Okay, so we were in Pasadena. We went to Beverly Hills, California, in a rented Ford Focus. We looked like the Beverly Hillbillies coming into Beverly Hills in our rented Ford Focus. We go to Hugh O'Brien's house. He was an actor in the 50s and played Wyatt Earp and gained all kinds of fame in that regard and started a program for leading young people. Anyway, we go to his house for dinner, and while we're at his dining room table for eating, the phone rings, and Mrs. O'Brien goes to get the phone. She comes back and she says, "Hugh, that was Buzz Aldrin. He's on his way over." And so my daughter, who was in 7th or 8th grade at the time, had just been studying the moon landing and everything about it. And when she heard that, she was just like, "What the heck did he just say? Did she just say Buzz Aldrin is on his way over?" Because she had no idea who Hugh O'Brien was, but it elevated a little bit that Buzz Aldrin was on his way. A few minutes later, not a few minutes, about 20 minutes later, the doorbell rings. Hugh O'Brien says to me, he says, "Why don't you go get the door?" I go over the front door, open the door, and there's Buzz Aldrin. He comes in and he's sitting there at the dining room table, talking to Hugh O'Brien, and they were trying to generate some Hollywood ideas to get more money for NASA at the time in 2010. So there's the Palazzolos were seated at the dining room table with Mr. and Mrs. Hugh O'Brien and Buzz Aldrin. And don't you think we said to ourselves after we walked out, what the hell just happened? What were we doing there? So yes, my children have had unique experiences as a result of the Kiwanis family. So thank you, Brad, for allowing me to provide a little bit of hopefully levity with that story.
And I will add to that I actually had an opportunity to travel with Maria to Cambodia.
Cambodia, yes.
Maria went with us to Cambodia for one of the Eliminate projects. And I remember, great experience for all of us, right? But I remember her sitting there as we were going through some of the villages, and she said, "You know what?" She says, "I'm watching my friends who are worried about what prom dresses to wear tonight and what color their shoes are going to be." And she goes, "I'm sitting here with people who don't have electricity or water." And she goes, the impact was just amazing. And that's when she applied for her scholarship at Notre Dame.
Yep,
And
exactly.
she was texting back and forth from Cambodia back to the United States for the scholarship that she was eventually awarded.
Yep.
So it was amazing. But the entire family is great. So
Well, thank you.
So one last thing I wanted to give you guys all a heads up on. Friday, April 16th. This has not been made public yet. We're in the final stages of pulling this together. There will be a membership session from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been working with the area directors at Kiwanis International. It'll be a 2-hour program. First come, first serve, but an opportunity for you to learn some new, we want to say some exciting things about, we're not going to go over the basics about how to do things. It's going to be like, we want you to walk away from that program with 3 things that you're going to do, that you're going to be able to do. And then we're going to have some follow-up sessions afterwards. But I've been working with Brad and his colleagues at Kiwanis International, and we're going to talk about, a little bit of the data, but we're going to give people time to meet in breakout rooms with clubs of their own size, or we're still breaking out some of those details. But watch Facebook. We'll post it on Facebook. It will be there. We will make sure that that information is out there, but it is going to be limited numbers because we want to give people an opportunity to be able to participate and then leave with 2 or 3 things that you can do over the next couple of months, because as you all know, May is membership month. So
Sue,
we,
can you repeat the date and time, please?
it is Friday, April 16th. Friday, April 16th, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It'll be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for those of us that are in different time zones, but watch the Michigan District of Kiwanis Facebook page or my Facebook page. We'll get the information out there. Honestly, my goal is to get like 200 people because we have the space to do that, but to be able to let everyone think about how to look at membership. We've talked about the basics today, but what are things that you can do that you don't feel so overwhelmed with what you're doing? Brad, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think we're just really excited to, I think we're going to allow people to maybe bitch and moan for a few minutes about the pandemic and all, and then we're going to go beyond that because we see the end in sight. A lot of us are getting shots in our arms, and now we want to give our communities a shot in the arm. And the only way that I know to do it is to give our clubs a shot in the arm in the form of more members to have more hands for service.
So you're going to get your Kiwanis vaccine. There you go. We'll give you your Kiwanis
booster
vaccine.
Shots for all.
Booster shots for all. Booster shots for all. So
All their shots, all their tots. Anybody remember that?
yes,
Kiwanis
remember that one?
program? All
Yep.
their shots.
All their shots while
tots?
they're tots. That was with
Will Blackman.
Will Bleckman and which
Young children.
there was the president, one of the presidents, or the United States president's wives.
Oh, heck.
Yeah,
Was it Barbara Bush?
nope, it wasn't Barbara.
Rosalind?
Wasn't it Rosalind Carter?
I think so.
Sure.
Yep, I was Rosalind Carter. So, all right. So the event for the membership will be virtual as well. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna limit it. We're gonna have some follow up. But the thing to know is that if it goes over, we'll do it again. We don't have any. We're not holding anything back. Of no charge. We're gonna have some. You will have some work to do for some follow up, but that's we think is one way that we can help pursue working with membership. Is there's got to be much more than just us saying, here you go. But what things can we do? We've got some pretty cool ideas in the background that we're going to do. So, and we're going to, let's see here. So Chuck worked with a club that he's a member of in Florida with a membership of 9 to do a membership drive. They were able to bring in 8, maybe 9 new members to the club. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about. It can be done. It can be out there. All right. Last comment, Barb.
Mine was a question. How do we find out about it? By watching the Michigan Facebook page?
It'll be on the Michigan Facebook page, and it will also be on my Facebook pages. I actually have 2 pages, but we'll post it there, and we'll make the information available as widespread as we can. I'll be
on the KI group membership group page too.
The KI membership group.
Yeah. Can we pay you to get on the list early? A way to make money, Sue.
You're right. A way to make money.
$200 like Amplify.
Yeah.
This isn't Chicago.
Yeah.
Always after that non-dues revenue.
That's right. Well, I want you to know that I saw talk about Amplify. For those of you that are involved, the numbers were over 650 people registered.
Yeah.
So that was a great thing. So, all right, it's well past our time. And Paul's
into this magazine, folks.
We're going to plunge into this magazine. You're right. I'm going to try to get a few extra copies when I'm at the Kiwanis office. Well, exactly when I'm in Indianapolis next week, visiting. So, all right. Thanks everybody for being with us tonight. Oh, you haven't gotten yours yet? Wow. I've only had mine a couple days, so it takes time. We will go ahead now, stop the recording, but we want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. Remind you that this will be made available on the Michigan District of Kiwanis YouTube page. We will also post it as soon as I get the recording up. And as I like to remind everybody, it's nothing fancy. I just take the recording and throw it up there. That's my skill level for that. So with that, I will stop the recording, and anybody that wants to hang around can hang around. If you want to talk with Paul, we're here.